Hi there, this is Erica Pelli coming to you from my kitchen, but educator for the High Desert Museum. This weekend we were supposed to do a fermentation workshop, which of course is not going to happen. We did a fermentation workshop a couple years ago as part of our brewing exhibit, a way to engage with fermentation of the brewing process for family-friendly opportunities. And it was so popular we thought we'd do it again this weekend, but since we can't do it, we thought we'd at least do a little kombucha demonstration for you all, because kombucha is so easy to do and a really fun experiment while we're have a couple weeks of quarantine here. So all you need to make kombucha, you need a glass jar. I have a gallon glass jar that I use for my personal kombucha, but I'm going to do some smaller glass jars today. You need a thermometer, so just a simple cooking thermometer will do. Of course you need a stove and some tea, but you also need a dark cupboard so that the kombucha can hang out for a couple of weeks and collect all of the yeast and bacteria that is naturally in your home for that SCOBY to grow. And the SCOBY is something that you need as well. And a SCOBY is an acronym for symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. And so a SCOBY is actually a creation, a living organism of good bacteria and yeast. Here is an example of a SCOBY from a previous kombucha experiment, but it's that living culture that is going to collect the natural yeast and bacteria within your own home to ferment the tea. And then what it's using to actually grow is sugar. So you're going to need some sugar as well. So super simple way to make kombucha. You just brew some tea, black tea, green tea, any kind of tea. It is the base of your flavor. And then you want to make sure that your tea is less than 110 degrees when you actually start to put the living culture into that warm water, because if it's too hot, the living culture could die. You could burn it. And one thing I didn't plan on was that being hard to open, but you want to add a little bit of sugar. We're going to direct you to an actual website for the recipe, www.thekitchen.com, and that's kitchen without the E at the end, so KITCHN, and that's a really good resource not only for the quantities of tea, water, sugar, but also it has directions on how to make your own SCOBY, which if you don't have access to a friend who has a SCOBY to give you some more, then that is one way that you can make your own SCOBY at home by just buying some kombucha from a store on your next grocery run and making your own SCOBY. So I've got some sugared tea here. I'm going to add that to my jar. And then when the temperature is right, I'm going to add that SCOBY. I'm going to add some flavor as well. So the tea is the base of your flavor, but then this is a great fun project to add anything else that you might want. We've got some limes here. I'm just going to zest some limes into that tea, and that's going to start the fermentation and flavor process. And then when that SCOBY is added, it is going to start growing and fermentation is going to start happening in your own cupboard. So I have a little SCOBY right here that I've cut off from my previous SCOBYs that I just keep in the fridge. And then the other thing to add is a little bit more of that tea that's already been processed. So you want to kind of kickstart your fermentation by adding that tea. So that just goes right inside with the extra tea as well. And then you just take something that is not going to block airflow, but you really want that airflow to continue. But of course you don't want something like a fly to get in there and ruin your tea. So once that's covered up, you take your tea that has your SCOBY on the inside, it's got some flavor starting to develop, and then you just find a dark cupboard. This one is not as dark as it needs to be, but if I push that into the center, then leave it there for 2 weeks or so, and then you're going to have a SCOBY that's going to start developing on the rim. So So to show you what that looks like, this tea was created about a week ago, and it's hard to tell from here, but there is actually a small layer of SCOBY that has started to develop. And I don't know if you can see that very, very thin layer, but that is the beginning of the fermentation process. And if I let that sit for probably another week, it'll become really, really thick. And what it is doing is it's collecting all of the natural yeast and bacteria and using the sugar within the tea itself to grow and eat and process. And as it does that, it does ferment the tea. All of these great cultures are important for digestive health and gut health, which is also something to remember as we are continuously cleaning at this moment in time. So as we clean, we're killing all of the bad viruses, but also all of the good bacteria and yeast within our homes. And so having some kombucha around is a really good way to just kind of reintroduce some of those good yeast and bacteria within your gut community. And one thing to remember too is that it will still continue to ferment. So we've got some kombucha right here, and you can see that there's a little bit of material there that is the process of the fermentation. And you want to stick that right in the fridge, because when you cool it down, the fermentation will begin to slow down or stop completely. And that's all you need to make kombucha. So remember to go to thekitchen.com. That's the greatest spot that I found for just really simple introductory recipes, as well as lessons on how to make your own kombucha SCOBY from some store-bought kombucha. And we really miss having you at the museum, but hopefully for the next fermentation workshop, we'll see you there. Cheers.